You know, there was a video that went viral about the strange behavior of birds and dogs in Turkey on the night before the big earthquake happened. Ewan ko kung napanood ninyo yung video. And so people were asking, was there something that these animals could sense that human beings are not able to perceive? Were they picking up some warning signals that could have saved many lives if only we knew how to interpret them? Well, sa ating first reading ngayon, we are told how Noah used birds to be able to monitor his surroundings when the great flood had already or had begun to subside. Para bang sila yung naging mata. One might say they served as extra eyes for Noah long before nagkaroon ng drones, camera drones, long before camera drones were invented. First, he released a raven, isang uwak, which according to the storyteller, flew back and forth until the waters dried off from the earth. Next, naglabas siya ng kalapati. He released a pigeon. And the dove had no place to alight. Walang dadapuan, kaya bumalik. Came back to the ark. He released the same dove again after 7 days, and it came back with a plucked off olive leaf in its beak. If only we had the humility to admit that there is still so much that we can neither see nor hear around us. You know, we are still unable to predict the exact time of the occurrence of an earthquake. Lalo na tayo sa Kamaynilaan. Kinakabahan talaga tayo because we know the San Mateo Fault is running through Quezon City. Unlike with typhoons, there is at least time to evacuate. May mga mata na tayo. We already have eyes from the outer space. And these are space satellites that are able to track down the positioning, the speed, and the direction of a typhoon as it is building up. Pwede pang i-live stream. And I hear that the same thing can already be done with volcanoes, as long as people can have access to technology. But let us admit it, so many things around us are still unpredictable. We still do not have the eyes to foresee a pandemic like a COVID-19. We need extra eyes that will see while what is behind us, while we're looking ahead of us. Kung pwede lang makakita yung tao 365 degrees, no? Pero diretso lang ang tingin eh. When you look ahead, you don't see behind. Pwede kayang to have eyes that look ahead, and eyes that look behind, and eyes that look above, and eyes that look below. Or eyes that look around us. Well, sa totoo lang, that is what we're doing pag naglalagay tayo ng CCTV kung saan-saan. But CCTVs are mechanical. Nature has many other creatures whose eyes can do the seeing for us if only we have not lost our connection to them. Sabi nila may kahulugan kapag ang mga langgam umaakyat na sa bahay. And then when there is a flood, they say, ayun pala, mas magagaling pa sila sa atin. The cats and the bats, the reptiles, the dolphins, and the whales, all of them seem to have extra senses na wala tayo. Kaya ano bang pinagmamalaki natin? There is so much that they can tell us. If only we could observe them closely. If only we can interpret their behavior properly. Kapag dog lover ka, you begin to know how a dog feels. Kapag plantito ka o plantita ka, you get to know how the plants feel. You know, these fellow creatures might be our best guides in knowing what is coming. In the book of Ecclesiastes, the author says, there is a time for everything and a time for every affair under the heavens. When the dove got back to the ark with an olive leaf in its bill, Noah knew na tapos na yung flood, that the flood had subsided, that the trees had begun to grow again, and that they had put forth new leaves, and that the calamity was over. It was time to come out of the ark. It was time to start all over again. Ang dami kong taong alam, hindi pa sila lumalabas sa Noah's Ark nila mula nung nagpandemya. The dove with the olive leaf on its bill has therefore become a symbol of assurance, of world peace. You know, the Spanish painter Pablo Picasso portrayed the dove with an olive leaf in its beak as a symbol of world peace. And it was adopted by the First World Peace Congress in 1949. When, in spite of the advancement and sophistication of all science and technology, we are brought down to our knees by calamities and disasters, it is then that we realize how blind we really are to a lot of things in this world. We need the healing touch of Him who alone can open our eyes, who can empower us to see kahit na paunti-unti, like in our gospel today. Maybe at the start, we see vaguely, but later, we can see more clearly. But we have to have the patience to look very hard and to distinguish between the trees and the people. Si Isaiah the prophet once lamented about people who have eyes but cannot see, who have ears but cannot hear. And our first reading tells us we need more than eyes to be able to see. We need to restore our connection with nature, our connection with other fellow creatures, with the birds and the dogs and the insects that have many things to teach us. If only we had the humility to admit how ignorant we still are about a lot of things in this world. I have seen blind people being guided by dogs. Di pa kayo nakakita ng bulag na yung guide ay aso. And they say at some point, the emotional connection between the blind person and the dog can become so strong. It's like the man is practically able to see and to hear and to smell through the senses of a dog.